and do it this way. And then your last level would be to go down to the floor and do your push-ups in this position. And press-ups are not easy, so it's gonna take a while.
One of the things that a lot of midlife women, they all complain we have all this extra the muffin top. What can we do to get rid of that silly muffin top that we don't want?
Okay, so number one is diet, obviously.
Yeah.
Because they always say your abs are made in a kitchen. Especially when we enter menopause, we want to prioritize protein. So protein, clean protein.
When we build muscles, obviously we start to, in terms of weight, it seems heavier. And so when I explain to people, it's because your muscles is actually heavier than fat.
Yes.
Right? So how important is it?
Okay, so at the age of 30, we start to lose muscle mass. And we lose about 1% every year. And every decade, that number goes up and up. So by the time you get to be 50, if you don't do any strength training, you have lost maybe even 10% of your muscle.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Karen here from Midlife Mojo. I'm in a different setting altogether. This is Gosia, the owner of Fierce Fitness in Penang, and we are in one of her studios. She has a few studios here. This is like really refurbished, pretty cool. So we're going to talk about how you can have a healthier, stronger self, especially if you are feeling very demotivated and difficulty to move about, and it's super important. So stay tuned. Okay, hi Gosia.
Hi, Karen.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And so tell me, tell us about yourself and where you are, and tell us about your studio.
Okay. My name is Gosia. I'm originally from Poland. I've lived in many different countries. Maybe that's a story for another video. But just quickly, I've been in Malaysia for about 10 years now. And I opened Fierce Fitness almost 6 years ago. Actually, end of this month will be our 6th anniversary.
Yeah, great.
And we started actually in just one studio. We did every single class just in one space. And from there, we have expanded to 2 levels. And now we do indoor cycling and strength training and mobility and stretching and a little bit of dancing, conga. So we have classes for different fitness levels and different populations.
Okay, and this is only in Penang, right?
Only in Penang, yes.
Okay, I'll leave those description. You want to join. Gosia is also in YouTube. Is Gosia
Get Fit with Gosia.
Get Fit with Gosia.
Yes.
The description will be down, and so you can follow her. And I'm sure, you know, if you have any questions, you can also comment and ask those things, and she will be happy to help you. So let's get started. As you know, I'm a big advocate for menopause women. And one of the things that especially Asian women, we suffer more with bone density and osteoporosis just because of DNA, our body makeup and all. So when I approach you, I said to you, please tell us, especially for someone who's like, you've been doing this for years. So this is like second nature to you. But to most of us, exercising is a little bit kind of takes a back seat and all that. So what would you advise that how to get us started? That's number one. Number two is how important it is to build muscles, in your opinion.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. So, the number one thing I would say, if you are new to exercise, is to just move. So, for example, just get a smartwatch and move. Try to accomplish about 10,000 steps a day. If you are like super, super brand new, start even with 5,000 because you want to build up slowly. And movement can be very simple. Just going out for a walk. And if you don't want to go out for a walk because it's hot in Malaysia, go to a shopping mall and just get your steps in. So that's number one thing, to get your body moving. Do something.
Right.
Because when you're sitting down, doing nothing, that's when you get into trouble, especially when you get into your 50s or 60s, because as you know, in menopause, the estrogens level fall you lose muscle mass, you can get sarcopenia.
Yeah.
So then if you fall, you can break a bone because your bone density gets really low. So you really want to get moving.
Exactly. We talked about this, about brittle bone, and that's something very, very important. And Asians in general have a higher chance of brittle bones. It's again back to the fact that it's our DNA, our diet. So that is something that we have to have, be very mindful of. The other thing is, what about, my second question was, how important is muscles for, because when we build muscles, obviously we start to, in terms of weight, it seems heavier. And so when I explain to people, it's because your muscles is actually heavier than fat.
Yes.
Right? So how important is it?
Okay. So at the age of 30, we start to lose muscle mass. And we lose about 1% every year. And every decade, that number goes up and up. So by the time you get to be 50, if you don't do any strength training, you have lost maybe even 10% of your muscle that you had when you were younger. So you can basically start at any age, but the sooner that you start, the better, because when you get to be 60, 70, 80, if you don't have that muscle, you will be an old frail lady that needs assistance. And I mean like assistance going to the bathroom. So we don't want to get to that point. We want to start as soon as possible. But it's never too late. That's the thing, because muscle has no age. You can increase your muscle at any age as long as you do proper things to your muscle, to your body, and you consume enough protein.
Yes. So high protein diet, which we talked about a lot as well. And so one of the things that I want you to show us is as well, a lot of people, as they get older, they're not walking well. And when you kind of scrape or kind of drag your feet, the tendency of tripping or falling down is very, very high. So that's why I always advocate making sure your legs are strong, your core is strong. So, you know, later if you can show us what that feels like or what we can do to exercise. But the other thing is, how about the fact that as we get older, some women will say, well, I'm in my 60s, is it too late to start?
As I said, it's never too late. And if you're just starting out, I would really recommend to get someone that can help you to build a program that is appropriate for your body, your age, your fitness level, because you don't want to do something wrong. You don't want to start off too fast, so then you get injured. But if you think about your daily movements, what do we do every day? We stand up. Yes, we sit down. And what do you call this? That's a squat, right? So if you can mimic your daily movements into exercise, that's called functional training. So that is the best way to start. So squat is number one. What else do? We bend down to pick up an object. That's called a deadlift. Right?
Yes.
What else do? We go to the supermarket, we push a trolley. That's called a chest press or a press up. Right?
All right.
What else do? Right? What else do? We open the cupboards, we reach up to get something from the cupboard. Right? We get cans. That's called a shoulder press.
True.
So everything can be done into functional training. Of course, the activities that we do every day, just getting up and down from the chair, it's not enough to stimulate your muscles. That's why we need to add a little bit of weight. So like I said, if you can, the optimal thing would be to get a personal trainer or someone that can help you set up a program. You can join a group training class. And if you really are, I don't know, you cannot afford it, or if you are too shy or you are too intimidated to go to the gym, I totally understand. There are so many videos that you can look up. And you can just follow simple videos. That's right. And honestly, like, people always think like, I need at least 1 hour to go to the gym and do it 3 times a week. You don't. Like, even if you start with 10 minutes, that's already better than nothing. So having some weights at home, doing a few movements, which I can show you, that's already a really good start. And also the movement that I talked previously, like just going for a walk, getting your steps in, dancing around. That's already something that will help you improve your health and improve your muscle.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's very good to do those cardio where it's the walking or the jogging or the dance, but that's where strength training is the next level that you have to work on. And that's, like again, if you feel intimidated going to a class,
Yes.
watch her videos and you'll get all that information. And you don't have to go with 10 kilos at one go. You can start with 2 cans of beans.
Of course.
Right? And
Yeah.
then water and then slowly build up. But the main thing that we both are trying to drive is start somewhere
Yes.
and be persistent, because nothing's going to change overnight. It takes time.
Yes.
It took time to put yourself in the place where your weight have gone up and things like that. It also takes time to lose that weight. So you got to be very consistent and really make that effort and dedication, because when you have that extra weight, we talk a lot about that visceral fat, about how it affects all your organs, and how
Yes.
when you get your menopause and that estrogen coming in, how it affects all your organs at some point. So without further ado, we're going to get Gosia to show us a few tips that I think, let's go with someone who is pretty new, maybe, as you say, functional stuff. Just show 5 moves that they can do on a daily basis.
Sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So number one thing when it comes to strength for your upper body. So let's go upper body, legs, and core. It's a press up.
Okay.
Okay. So when you're first starting a press up, you should start a little bit higher up than going on the floor. It's good to do it on the wall. So I'm just going to shift over to the wall.
Okay.
Okay. So when you are just starting out, so you want to bring your hands at your shoulder level, and then the closer you are to the wall, the easier the exercise. The further away you move from the wall, then you have to lift more of your body weight. So you're just going to press into the wall and then press your body away from the wall.
So just using your body weight.
Just use your body weight.
Right. Cool.
Then once this is too easy, then you would use something like a couch. So back of the couch, so I can show you here.
Yep.
So you can bring your hands up on top of the couch and do it this way.
Oh, that looks hard already.
It's much harder, right? And then your last level would be to go down to the floor and do your push-ups in this position. And press-ups are not easy, so it's going to take a while, but don't give up. Like Karen said, be persistent, because you will get there. And like I said, I've seen women at the age of 65 that are doing press-ups that are super strong. So it's never, ever too late. Exactly. But, so when you're starting a squat, you want to start just with your body weight. Okay, so think of a movement. You're going to sit down into a chair, but you're not really sitting down. So you want to bring your hips down towards the floor as low as you can, and then stand up. So you just go down and up, down and up. Then once you go to the next level, you grab a weight. I like using kettlebell because it's really functional, the way you hold the kettlebell. So you hold it in front, and then you do the same thing. So you squat down and up, down and up.
Is there an alternative for someone who has bad knees, really bad knees that they can't?
Actually, squats are not bad for the knees.
Okay.
Yes, if you do them correctly, because when you put your knees in a correct position, you keep your knee over your ankle joint. So you are in a good position. So you're not going to hurt your knees. But if your knees are hurting, you can do wall sits. So what you would do, you would sit against the wall, so then there's no movement.
Oh.
So you have your knees at 90 degrees and you stay in that position.
Miss you for 1 minute, it burns.
Yes, for sure. So next exercise I will show you is a row, because we were talking about pull. Actually, we didn't talk about it. So pulling movement, so functional movement, right?
Yep.
You're pulling something. So you can start with smaller weight. My weight is bigger, but of course you can start with smaller weight. Okay, so you can do one arm at a time. Yeah, or you can use the little weights there. There you go. Mini weights.
Mini weights, there's 1 kilo ones.
Yeah, 1 kilo. But remember, we want to go heavier to really stimulate the muscle. But it's when you're starting out, it's okay to go light. Okay, so you're going to hinge at your hip. So you're going to push your butt back, arms down, and then you bring your elbows up. So you want to relax your shoulders And then bring your elbows close to your body. Keep your body in a nice straight line. So what I'm doing here, I'm pressing my belly button into the spine because I want to keep my core nice and tight, protect the lower back. And then I'm using my little dumbbells to bring my elbows up. So you can start with that. Okay?
So for more intensity, you can push up your weight count, yeah?
Yes, you can go heavier. So when you're first starting out, aim for about 12 to 15 repetitions for every exercise. Start with 1 set, and then slowly you build yourself up to 2 or 3 sets. Okay? And we didn't talk about it either. You want to do this 3 times a week. Okay? So 3 times a week, 15, 20 minutes, plenty. Once you get into a little bit more higher intensity, you can strength train 4 times a week. So then what you would do, you would split up lower body, upper body, and then you do it twice a week.
Right.
So you can do it like that. But if you do full body, you do it 3 times a week, perfect. Okay?
Cool.
All right. So we worked our quads for the squats. We worked our chest for the front. We worked upper back. Now we want to work back of your body, which is your hamstrings, your glutes, your lower back.
Oh yes, we want a perky butt.
That's right. So this is called a deadlift. Okay. So you can do it with 2 weights to begin with, a little bit heavier. One is a little bit light. All right. So you want to place your feet under your hips. And then from that position, you want to bend down as if you were going to pick up an object. Keep your body nice and straight, and then pull your body weight up. So you go down nice and slowly and up. And I'm not locking my knees here. I'm keeping my knees slightly bent. I'm just moving my hips. And I'm thinking of the muscles that I'm working. So I'm working back of my leg. So my hamstrings, my bum, my lower back. And then once you get stronger, you grab heavier weight. And then you do the same thing, up and down.
So think about your grocery bags, ladies. You could have like 5 kilo
That's
grocery
right.
bags and you're doing
Yes.
So making sure that you exercise while you're doing your daily routine as well.
Yes. All right. And one more body part that we need to work on is our core.
Yes.
So one of the best exercises is a plank position.
Ooh.
So when you're first starting out, we're going to go into high plank position. Okay. So down on the floor. So you want to place your hands underneath your shoulders. You want to pull your belly button in and squeeze your glutes. So you're tucking your tailbone under, and all you're doing is just holding. Okay? And then looking forward. So don't look down, look ahead, because you want to maintain nice straight line in your whole body.
And you don't sink your butt down.
Yeah, you don't sink your butt down or you don't bring it up too high. So your body's nice and straight. So that's level 1. Next level would be to go down onto your elbows. So you place your elbows underneath your shoulders, and then you go into plank position. So you're going to start with 30-second hold, and then you increase it up to 1 minute. You can hold it for 2 minutes. And this is a really good exercise to strengthen the core, but also your shoulders.
Right.
So you're working your shoulders. So if you just start with these 5 exercises, that's already working all your major muscle groups.
I promise you it's not that easy because Gosia is already breathing harder now.
Yes.
Okay. So what is in terms of someone who tends to drag their feet and, to prevent walking, to prevent trips and things like that in terms of how
To
they
prevent
walk.
trips?
Yeah.
All right. So I think the reason people walk like this because their legs are not strong enough.
Yeah.
So doing exercises like squats,
Right.
like the deadlifts, you can also do lunges. So lunge is a squat, except you bring one leg forward at a time.
Right.
But if you do have bad knees, it's a little bit harder on the knees. So in that case, you can do back lunges. You're alternating back lunges.
Okay.
Okay?
Right. And can you support yourself while doing this too? If
You can hold on to a chair in front, and then you can just step back if you're just starting out. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. And just, I think, like, generally speaking, when you're walking, you want to have good and supportive shoe, because that's very important. If you're walking in flip-flops and then you're dragging your feet, more chances of falling. So having good running shoe, walking, and really being mindful of how you walk.
Right.
So even like walking around your kitchen, just, you know, bring your shoulders back, chest out, engage your core, smile on your face.
Exactly.
And just really walk mindfully. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, that was intense for 5 exercises that we can do at home easily. You can always modify it. But one of the things that a lot of midlife women, we all complain, we have all this extra, the muffin top. What can we do to get rid of that silly muffin top that we don't want?
Okay, so number 1 is diet, obviously.
Yeah.
Because they always say your abs are made in a kitchen, right? You've heard that expression?
Yes.
Abs are made in the kitchen. So especially when we enter menopause, we want to prioritize protein. So protein, clean protein such as eggs, chicken breast, fish, something that doesn't have too much fat. Like pork is okay, but just not so much fat. So really prioritizing with every meal, you want to get around 30 grams of protein. Okay? That's also the subject for another talk about nutrition.
What we always say is like 1.5 grams to every kilo of your weight.
Yes,
so that's the average. So so if you are like about 50, I think it works out to about 70 grams.
70 grams, But in the menopause, actually, they're doing a lot of studies now that women need more protein.
Exactly. Good quality protein.
Good quality protein. Exactly. And of course, avoiding sugar and alcohol, salt, little bit. Clean eating, basically.
Exactly. A bit boring, but
boring.
That's, we can jazz it up.
We can, exactly. So beside eating healthy, we want to do cardiovascular exercise. There's a lot of talk out there on social media. Always prioritize strength training over cardio. Yes, true. We do need to prioritize strength to build strong muscles, but we cannot neglect cardiovascular exercise because we need to work our heart, and it does help you burn fat.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
So if you get your 10 steps every day,
10,000.
10,000. What did I say?
10 steps.
10 steps. No, 10,000.
Steps I could do.
10,000 steps a day with brisk walking. That's called your zone 2 cardio.
Okay.
So at that zone, you can still talk. You're not huffing and puffing. It's easy, right?
Right.
And then what you want to do, so you can do it on the days when you're doing your strength workout, do bursts of high intensity cardio.
The HIIT thing, right?
Yes.
High intensity.
But you don't have to do it for too long. So you can do 100-meter sprints. You can start with 3 sprints and then you slowly build it up.
Just to push your heart.
Exactly.
So you could be running for 5 minutes, then you run really fast for 1, and then go back to fast walk at 3.
Yeah, exactly.
You could modify, but the idea is to push your heart to be beating a little faster.
That's right.
Burning a little more.
Yeah, you want to shock the heart a little bit, make it stronger. Or grab a skipping rope.
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes.
I haven't done that for ages.
And skipping, is so good for your bones, actually, too.
Right.
That's another exercise for your listeners.
Exactly.
Not to shuffle your feet. You learn how to skip because it strengthens your bones. It strengthens your tendons and joints and your ankles. So then if you fall, you're not going to injure yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. That's super important.
That's right. And another one, just simple body weight exercises like jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Or like high knees. Yes.
Yeah. And if you can't due to maybe injuries and all that, there's so many modifications that you still can do. Like Gosia said, the main thing is get yourself moving, because if your body is, your brain will always choose to take the easiest route.
That's right.
You got to push yourself to start moving first.
Yeah.
So the last and most important is one of those things that I notice this as I get older, is that when you don't exercise much or you've been on holiday, it's so hard to kind of get yourself going. And I am someone who exercises every day. And even those are days where I just want to sleep in. I don't want to do. So, what do you do to get yourself going when those days come in and you go like, I don't really feel like, and not feel guilty about having those rest days as well? So
there are few ways how you get motivated. So number 1 is be part of a community.
Yes.
Because when you have like-minded individuals, you know they are there for you, they are rooting for you,
True.
and you working together it just feels so much better, right? And it's more fun, so like group fitness classes, or be part of a community where you can go and meet up. And it's also social, because we need that social aspect, right?
Especially after COVID, we have to get back out there.
Exactly. And if you cannot find face-to-face community, you can find an online community as well. There's so many Facebook groups, and then people, they do their workout and they comment and they say, oh, I did my workout. So it's just, you need that external motivation to get you going.
That's so good. Such a good point, because when I am not the most motivated on that day, what I do choose is come to your classes, make sure that I at least, because you kind of like, you first off, you paid for it, so you want to make use of it. Number two, you want to meet, and you kind of like, you make that point to go for those classes. And I always don't regret it, because even in those days, I walk out thinking, I'm so glad I had such a great workout after all, and good sweat. Wow. So thank you.
But I have one more point to say. So mindset, it's such a big part of the motivation. So like for me, if I don't feel motivated, I think about I visualize, what do I want my life to be when I'm 70, 80 years old? So I always think like, when I'm that age, I want to be independent.
Active.
I want to be active. I don't want my kids to take care of me. I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be vibrant. I want to be active. I want to travel. So this is what drives me.
Exactly. And that's what drives me. And I hope it's what's driving you guys. So please subscribe, like, and join and make comments on my videos. And any description for Fitness Fears, please join the community. You won't regret it.